How many women die each year in the world while giving birth? A recent estimate says 500,000, but the number is uncertain, and the variation of those deaths in the world is very wide. Look at this chart. Each bubble is a country. The size is population and the color shows the region. This axis shows the income in dollar per person from 400 to 40,000. And this axis shows the maternal mortality, the number of women dying while giving birth per 100,000 births. It varies from just a few to 1,000 or to 2,000. And 2,000 means 2% of women dying. And you can see that the high-income countries have very low, the middle-income countries has a little higher, and the low-income countries, there where most of the maternal mortality takes place. Now, the important thing with this new study by Kenneth Hill and others, which was published in the medical journal Lancet, is that they published the uncertainty also. And I can animate the uncertainty for you. Look here. This shows, they say it can be low, it can be higher. These movements show the range of uncertainty that those researchers have published for the data in each country on maternal mortality. And the animation tells the story. Maternal mortality in low-income countries is a very uncertain measure. And is also in middle-income countries. One could ask, is the data of any use at all? Yes, it is, and I will show you. I will show you by moving the data to what is called logarithmic scale. And logarithmic scale means that I compress the mortality up there for those which have high mortality. So it's 1,000, it's 100 and it's 10. And this gives an almost linear relation between maternal mortality and income. But it is at the same level differences in maternal mortality, at the same income level. Sri Lanka there and no, that was Morocco. I was intending to show Guatemala. The little number 5 there is a glitch. Forget about it. Sri Lanka has only 58, whereas Guatemala has 290. But now you may think, oh, that's just due to the uncertainty. But look, when we fix the other countries and we move these countries up and down, you can clearly see that for Sri Lanka, the uncertainty is not so wide, whereas Guatemala, even if it's very wide, it clearly does not overlap Sri Lanka. So we can say that at same income level, we have countries with clearly lower maternal mortality than in other countries. Now, I will add one more country here. I want to show you also Peru, and I'll take away the other countries like this. And with this, I will show you that Peru, in fact, is the same level as Guatemala, but Peru has less uncertainty. And what can that be due to? Well, it is most probably due to that it's different methods used. And the good thing with the study published in Lancet is that it also tells the different methods used. Because maternal mortality can be obtained through different methods. In Sri Lanka, which is marked by brown here, the color now shows the type of method for obtaining the data. They had a special survey. In Guatemala, there is no data. It's a modeling exercise with indirect estimation. It's a very nice word for showing knowledgeable people made a guess. And for Peru, it is the green here. That is Peru. And that is called sisterhood method. It builds on the fact that most deaths among pregnant women in the world take place in the home. They die not because the hospitals are bad. They die because they don't reach the hospital. And the hospital doesn't know about the deaths. So it doesn't come to the statistics, but the sisters will know that their little sister or their older sister died in childbirth. And you can interview many thousands of women and ask them, did your sister die or didn't she die when she gave birth? And that's a quite good method to estimate, and this is what Peru used. So that was a long story to explain why Peru has less uncertainty than Guatemala. And now I will show you all the countries in the world, what sort of methods they used. And you see many colors, because there are many methods. The blue ones down here, these ones, that is the high-income countries. What do they use? Birth certificate, death certificates, which goes into the statistics. It's called civil registration. And even some middle-income countries like Mexico and Ukraine here have civil registration. And that's the best quality of data. The middle income countries here have many different colors, and they have different methods according to the context in each country. Whereas the low income countries, they are either green or red. And you know what it means? Red, a clever estimate, and green is the sisterhood method. But also the sisterhood method has the disadvantage that it sort of has a little too wide range. I'll mark Mozambique there, and then I will play all the countries like this. And you will see, this is the uncertainty, and you will see that the red data here, they vary more than the green was. But even with the green, the uncertainty for Mozambique of maternal mortality is such that it's too wide to be used for year-to-year monitoring. And that's my first conclusion. Maternal mortality cannot be used to measure progress year by year towards safe motherhood, and not at least in low-income countries. So what shall they use? What shall they use? Well, they know the expected number of births. They know the number who come to the services, and this enables them to calculate the percentage of women that has the birth attended by skilled staff. This is what this graph shows. It shows the percentage of women in each country that has some qualified person who helped them when they deliver children. It's very high in the high-income countries, almost 100%. Middle-income countries, it starts to fall, and in low-income countries, it's not even half. And you see some countries down here, 20% of women or less have access to skilled staff when they should deliver their children. Now, this measure has advantages for the year-to-year monitoring. But does it relate to mortality? Yes, it does. You can just show that it's the inverse pattern. This is mortality. High income, low here, and then mortality increase, whereas access does the other way around. And I will show you on individual countries. I will show you Sri Lanka down there, very low mortality, Peru higher mortality, and Mozambique even higher mortality. And now when I go to the service data, I will look up the same countries. Sri Lanka, as we expected, very high coverage. Peru lower, and Mozambique even lower. I think Mozambique is there. There is Mozambique. Can you see? And this data has the advantage that it's easy to collect. It measures the direct service that is responsible for safe motherhood. And when you measure it over time, look here, when you measure it over time, it enables people to hold the service providers accountable. You can measure year by year here how you progress in the access to service. So maternal mortality, it's right to ask how many women die, because that gives us the magnitude of the problem. But in order to solve the problem, we need to measure year by year the access to service in each country and in each local area.